Good afternoon, everyone. We'll get ready to get started with this informational town hall meeting. I said that again. This is an informational town hall meeting where you, as the citizens, can come and interact with the engineer of record and the property owner of this new location where the site is going. I want to say this because this is governed by a different set of rules. We have to be very, very careful. The public quasi-judicial meeting will be May the 5th. Will be May the 5th. That will be where you can come again and you can speak, and that's where action will be taking place. This is an informational meeting only meeting. But if you really want to have a voice and be able for them to hear, come to May the 5th, 5:30 p.m. to the Escambia County Board of County Commissioners Chambers. That is where the meeting and action will take place at that meeting. Again, I'm saying again, this is informational. It's very, very limited, 1 hour, and we're going to staff where you can interact as the citizens with the engineer of record and the property owner. We do have the county administrator is here. We have the assistant county administrator. We do have the Mr. Chips Kirchenfield. He's here with the Natural Resource and Environment Department Director. They are here, but again, it's for your interaction with the county staff. And we do have the Commissioner of District 3. He is here, but again, governed by a different set of rules, so therefore all of our comments got to be very limited until May 5th. That's when the Board of County Commissioners will be taking actions on this item, and that's the public hearing, but this is an informational meeting only. I want to say that clear for the record, so there will be no confusion on the expectations of this meeting. The Commissioner, he's coming at this time.
Thank you, Horace, and thank you each for being here. And certainly, I am proud to represent District 3 in Escambia County, and we've had some challenges since I've been elected in terms of districts that I represent, in terms of environmental injustices, environmental racism, those things that plague neighborhoods that may not be good for neighborhoods. And so, as he said, it's quasi-judicial. I have a responsibility and a stewardship to listen to those that I represent in respecting the environment. And so I respect the economy and I respect the environment. And so those decisions are not only made by myself, but they're made by my colleagues. My record is clear, very clear on my position on recycling, landfills, dumps, concrete crushing in residential areas. So that will not be up for discussion tonight because it is quasi-judicial, and so I do encourage you to share your comments. But one thing that I've done is I've been fair and consistent. Anything that I've done within the regulations, the laws, the ordinances that we are bound by. Certainly want to thank the staff. I think it's always great in any meeting for people to know who they're sitting next to and who they represent and where they're from. And so I'm going to allow people to introduce themselves, and then I'm going to turn it over, I don't know if it's to Wesley Hall or Chips or Wes, to facilitate. Any person would have 2 minutes to make their comments, ask any question of our staff, and Wesley and Chip will introduce the staff, and you can have the opportunity to engage where permissible. And as we said, no matter what the prevailing side is, it has the propensity and the ability to land in the courts. And so this being a public meeting and a recorded meeting, our legal team is here as well in knowing that those comments can jeopardize positions if we make certain comments. So we will not be making any comments other than to, again, give my commitment to the citizens of District 3 that I believe that I have demonstrated throughout my years of service to this community. So we'll start here, and you can introduce yourselves, and after that, Administrator Marino will decide who will facilitate from this point. And I tell you, my staff is here. We're going to get every comment. We're going to listen to every comment. We're going to review every comment, and then we're going to be at the public hearing, and hopefully that you will be at the public hearing in understanding that if I was a mayor, I would make the sole decision, but every decision is made by the majority of county commissioners and not just one county commissioner. No, just stay right there. I mean, you're on TV. You got it. Yeah. No, they'll bring it to you.
I can't get away.
Oh, we just need your name.
Okay.
Jordan.
Yeah, my name is Jerry McGuire. I am the engineer of record for the recycling facility project.
And if you would state your address, please, that would be very helpful.
JMA Engineering Services, 2726 Wallace Lake Road, Pace, Florida.
I'm Jeff Godwin. I'm the owner of Delta Contractors, 1238 Finley Drive.
Yes, I'm Ronald Johnson. I'm a resident of 9 Felice.
We're the Johnsons at 9 Felice.
We're the Franklins, 8228 North Palafox.
Good to see you.
Thank you. This is Sarah Randolph, and I'm a District 3 resident and a member of the County Environmental Caucus of the Democratic Party.
Betty Wilson. I'm also with the Environmental Caucus of the Democratic Party. Thank you.
Wesley Hall, Assistant County Administrator.
I'm Chip Kirschenfeld, Director of Natural Resources Management.
Good evening. I'm Clara Long, Director of Neighborhood and Human Services with Escambia County.
We're the Smiths from 8224 North Palafox.
Patty Adams on Field Drive.
I'm Roxanne Hicks. I'm a resident on Carolina Drive.
I'm Colin Thayer, a brand new resident to Carolina Drive, as well as brand new father.
I am Tammy Clark. I'm a property manager of an over 55 community on Palafox.
Wes Marino, Interim County Administrator.
Listen, no one wants to introduce their name. That's fine. I like to know who we're talking with. Our staff will introduce themselves because they work for the people. That's the way it works here at the county. I mean, you don't have the ability to not do that. You have the ability to introduce because that's who we work for.
Okay. Again, I think everybody heard my name. My name is Horace Jones. I'm the Director of Development Service Department. I work for Wesley Marino. And
Drew Homer, Escambia County Development Services. I work for Horace.
I'm Tim Day. I'm the Deputy Director for Natural Resources Management.
My name is Brent Whipf. I am the county's division manager for our Water Quality and Land Management Division.
Amber, I work for Water Quality and Land Management.
Christy Draper, I'm the lab manager, the Water Quality Land Management Lab Director for the lab here, and I work for Brett.
Debbie Bowers, Interim County Administrator.
Thank you. And Wesley, did we have sign-in sheets? Wesley, did we have sign-in sheets for Horace, for speakers? If not, Wes, if you want to come forward, well, we'll say that I'm going to ask Wesley and Chips and any applicable staff to come forward. And keep in mind, to the citizens, they cannot answer a lot of questions. What they can answer, they will. If not, we'll have to go to a public hearing. And that reason is because the information being given out this is quasi-judicial and it could be used in the courts. And so the reality for me is to serve the citizens of Escambia County and the citizens that I represent. And certainly in any negotiation, the end result is sometimes not exactly what any individual or one person wants, but I can just tell you, we're going to do what's in what I would call the #1 priority. The public safety and health of citizens is the #1 priority of any elected official. And that's where we are going to land. And if we err, we will err on the side of trying to be cautious for the safety of our citizens. And so with that, I think you can address the engineers, the owners, our staff. I'll give it to Chips, and if you need to say anything, and then we'll give it to Wesley, and I think Wesley will facilitate anyone wanting to speak for 2 minutes, and we'll get your information. Chip.
Thank you, Commissioner. My name's Chip Kirschenfeld. I introduced myself earlier, Director of the Natural Resources Department. One of our primary functions with C&D pits and concrete crushing facilities, and privately owned landfills, land clearing debris facilities, is to monitor those and to make sure that there are no violations of our land development code. So that's our role. We've got a lot of data that's on our county website for all of these facilities that we monitor. Amber and Christy and Brent and Tim do a lot of the work and make sure that those websites are current and that data is available. So we'll be glad to try to answer any questions tonight. Wes, did you want to say a few words, or do we want to just go ahead and start with any speakers? We have a microphone that we can bring around. Would anybody like to provide any comments or questions? Yes, ma'am.
I would like to know why Mr. Delta Concrete doesn't put the concrete business in his neighborhood.
Maybe a question would be, why was this site chosen? Why was this site selected? You can use the microphone there. That'd be fine.
Actually, this is my neighborhood. I actually live 3 minutes from there. I'm in the same district. I just live right around the corner.
Okay.
So I'm right there.
I'm just really surprised because that concrete business is going to pose a lot of health problems for people in our areas, and traffic and the noise and all those things and the debris and all of that. And I just think I'm dealing with a whole lot of, the system has failed me with the people that live next to me with fumes and cars operating a business without a license.
Where are you located at?
8228 North Palafox. So I've used the system to try to eradicate the problem, and I haven't been able to do so. So now I have this on the right, and then I'm going to have you down on the left. So that's going to create a big problem for me. I have health problems, breathing problems. I'm on a machine. I use 2 aspirators. And then here I'm going to be dealing with more. And I just think it's a disservice to us. I think when you start adding businesses in there with the residential people, it's not fair to us.
Mm-hmm.
I have been retired since 1990, and I just don't think I should have to suffer because you want to add your company. And I value the fact that you want to build, but that's not the right area. There are too many other places. The industrial park out there, they're so empty. That would be a good place. Then you wouldn't bother anybody, and then I'll come and patronize you.
Thank you for those comments. We appreciate it. Any other response to that?
I'm not sure what. No, not right now. Not right now.
Okay.
I will in a little bit.
All right.
There is the concern about the odor. There is the concern about the dust and the odor, because the dust particles, yes, can cause pulmonary diseases and add to that. The odors, you know, they're going to carry through our neighborhoods. That's a very big irritant to people with lung disease already. You know, it interferes with our ability to continue with outdoor activities during the daytime hours or during his business hours. I've also got concerns about the runoffs. I've got concerns because the big runoff is across the street and up a little bit from his property, the water retaining ponds. You know, because you're talking about putting an area in that's going to take up ground space and it's not going to have drainage area to it. So you've got that. I'm concerned about the traffic on Palafox. You know, been up and down there. There's no easements there to pull traffic off with. So if you've got time deliveries, I also know what that means. My husband is a truck driver, and you can only put so many trucks on your lot at a time, even though they supposedly have dump times or pickup times, whatever you want to say. You're going to be back blocking Palafox Road. There's enough traffic and accidents on that road. There have been very deadly accidents on that road. Even in that area, coming up to the stoplight, people are flying up there at the stoplight at Olive and Palafox. So there's concerns.
Can I answer that right there for a minute?
Sure, go ahead.
Then we'll keep going. All right, right now, we are half a mile south of there.
Right.
And there don't seem to be any backups because of us. The traffic that comes from us does not seem to be backing anything up. So I don't understand how we would be contributing to the traffic problem. I don't really see where there's a problem at Olive Road and Old Palafox, but
there's a big problem.
You know, other than normal traffic. As far as the smell, I'm around this every day. I don't understand what you mean by the smell of concrete that you're going to smell.
Asphalt.
Well,
Concrete don't smell, I'll give you that.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm concerned about the odors from the asphalt, the gases.
Well,
et cetera.
it's not a gaseous deal because all we're doing is crushing it. We're not an asphalt plant. We're not feeding to it. We're not adding liquid to it. We're not heating it up, trying to rebond it. We're not doing any of that. So it don't smell.
But the particles that comes from the crushing, gets into the air. And we are within that area in which you're talking about building. So therefore, a lot of us within our community do have breathing problems. And we're afraid that this is going to aggravate them even more.
I understand what you're saying. I really do. And on the outside looking in, I can understand where every one of you have concern. Dust, noise, any of this. The crusher that we use has 8 big jets that keeps everything wet, keeps the dust down to a bare minimum, if any. Where we locate the crusher, the water stops the dust. I mean, we all know that, whether it be in your yard, my yard, grass, whatever. And that's how we control a lot of that. We are tested, and a lot of people don't realize this, we are tested on a monthly basis. The county, we have a private person that does a lot of testing for us that comes out. They test for noise, because there was a time when people was concerned about this. The noise, it's gonna make too much noise. You're busting up concrete. You got jackhammers out there just making a lot of noise. That's not the case. It's really not. Right now, my rock crusher is sitting 40 feet from the property line next door. We don't have any problem with them. They're good neighbors. We're good neighbors. There's not a dust issue. Like I say, the county comes out, they test every month. The people that test are here tonight. We've always fallen way below the threshold of failing. I mean, we're always way below. We're not in an issue where we barely skate by. We put a lot of effort, a lot of time and money into keeping everything clean. There has been comments about being like a C&D landfill, the smell, the trash, the things that come along with it. We're not. We don't take trash. The stuff that comes in is processed. Everything that comes through our gate gets processed and goes right back out. It comes in as concrete footers or whatever this building's built on. It'll come in, it'll get processed, broke down into smaller concrete, run through the crusher, and hauled right back out. The rebar that's in it is recycled and goes to the scrapyard. Every once in a while, there may be a board, there may be a Pepsi bottle, there may be something simple. It goes into a containment area that goes to the county landfill. But everything that comes in goes right back out. So we're not making a mess.
I understand that you're not making a mess. My main concern is the environment itself. And I do understand that you're talking about that you water it down. You can't water down everything, Paul. It's gonna still get out into the air, whereas I'm breathing it, they're breathing it, someone's breathing it. I understand all that. I also understand that you're telling me that you're tested quite often.
Yep.
They're not testing me. I'm concerned about health issues. Health issues. Now, I don't know what type of testing in which you're referring to, but I'm referring to health issues. Health issues. I'm not talking about they come through there and they say, well, I don't see any dust here. That's going to be totally wrong.
They use monitors.
Because there's going to be dust. There's going to be dust. Now, the amount of dust in which they might see, I don't know. But it's going to get out into the air. The wind's blowing like it's blowing now. And it's going to carry from one direction to another. And it's going to, I have health issues. My husband has health issues. My neighbors have health issues. We're concerned about that. Not only are we concerned about that, we're concerned about our property values as well. Not only are we concerned about our property values, we're concerned about we're living in an area, whereas the area in which you're talking about doing this, I believe it might be considered a flood zone. Because when it would rain so, that area right there would be drenched. Our drainage pond, which we've been complaining about for years, that hadn't been addressed. That hasn't been addressed. And you're talking about that you've got water in which you utilize in order to keep everything down. Well, that water's got to go somewhere. And it's more than likely going to end up in our pond because we're the closest pond there is. And when it rains to a certain degree, it comes up.
Ma'am, thank you for your comments. Could you provide your name for the record, please? Would you mind?
I did already.
You already did? Okay.
Oh, it's no problem. Johnson at 9 Felice.
Okay.
My name is Sylvia Franklin, and I'm on the very corner and will be catching the first hand of it, 8228 North Carolina.
Thank you.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Get with Wes about any drainage issues you have tonight when we solve them.
No problem.
Thank you.
There's a drainage issue. So you're going to say there's a drainage issue going on right now, and I haven't even done anything other than cut grass?
No, I said that it will contribute to. I'm not.
We're not going to do this tonight.
Yeah.
We're not going to do this.
Right, yeah.
Jeff, some of the comments that have been made so far, I know you've addressed many of those in the application that you submitted. There have been comments about stormwater runoff. There's been comments about dust. There's been comments about noise. There's been comments about traffic. So maybe you'd like to summarize those 4 things. What measures, what mitigation, what are you all doing to try to address those concerns of the citizens?
Do you mind if we get the last 2 questions and then let them address it?
Sure. All right.
My question is off this
Your
part
name-
of the
name,
topic.
please.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sarah Randolph.
Thank you.
Thank you. And my question is more about the process. I just was wondering if I'm the only one in the dark, maybe, I don't know. I'm not sure where this project is in terms of from the initiation to approval. You know, where in that, where are we right now, or where are we going?
Right. They've submitted an application to use this particular piece of property that they've selected for a concrete crushing facility. And that application has been submitted to the Development Services Department. As part of that application process, we're having this public meeting tonight to address citizen concerns. Next Thursday, the 5th, the Board of County Commissioners will be considering a conditional use for that property. Because currently, even though the zoning is, industrial? Heavy commercial, light industrial, it does not specifically allow for concrete crushing. So the Board of County Commissioners next Thursday will consider what's called a conditional use to allow concrete crushing on this property.
What's your name, sir? I'm sorry.
My name is Chip Kirschenfeld.
May I ask just a follow-up on that? So, and then on May 5th, is a decision actually made in terms of whether or not the county approves this conditional?
The Board of County Commissioners may vote that night. They may require additional information, and they may postpone or continue the hearing to a future date. It'll be up to the Board of County Commissioners.
Thank you.
Can I ask you another question?
Sure.
If you can clarify something for me. Right now, the area in which they're looking at is not zoned for that?
It is zoned for commercial and light industrial.
Yes.
But the specific use
Yes.
of concrete crushing.
Yes, it is zoned to have that use. What the regulation states, it states that because of that use activity, the regulations state that it has to come before the Board of County Commissioners for an additional layer of review. Then at that meeting, as the Chuck stated, they can either say, go back, remand, deny, or approve. That is the option. So, but the zoning does allow for it. But there's another layer. There's another permitting process that has to be come before the Board of County Commissioners for their review and for their action. So that is the process. Yes. Yes.
So, Mr. Chip, what I was going to say to you
Yes.
was that, what do we do, or is there anything we can do? Or have you all already made your mind and we're just having this meeting for no reason? What steps can we take as a community
Let me ask you
to block this?
Frank, let me go out. The reality of what happens is, it could have just been a public hearing, and typically if you go throughout the whole county, that's what would have happened. It would have been a public meeting would have come. But because of my concern for environment, I do these public meetings to get information. Yes. So when people say, has decision, no decision has been made. No decision has been made before you're having this meeting. And I can just tell you, typically these things don't have these meetings. Probably only in District 3 that they have these meetings, because I want your input on what happens in your community. And so I don't want anybody to be an antagonist to any of my staff. That's why we're having this meeting. It's just a public meeting to educate, to inform, so people can come to a public meeting to talk to all 5 of the county commissioners. So no decision.
Let me add something to that. There are no deals made. There are no deals. This is up and above board.
You know, everybody need to be able to expand their business and to grow and to do better. But I just think sometimes the selection is just not covering everybody's interest in mind. And you young man now, you don't feel the outcome of the concrete, but eventually will. Because I have family member who's in concrete and they have lung problems
there every day.
They have lung problems. They ain't got old now, but see, you haven't gotten there yet. So I don't want you to take the rest of the neighborhood down with you.
No, and so, Ms. Frank, you know each other all my life. That's why it's coming. No, I feel it. And so it's not, we're not gonna be antagonists. I'm not gonna be antagonists. No, we're not, I just want them to answer the question, that's all, and we're good.
That level that you're in is a different level.
I'm not even confirmed with what the level I'm in. There we go. So, listen, anybody came in this room, you know, my record's very clear. I'm not gonna do that. It's very clear.
Yes, what's your name again?
My name?
Yes.
I'm Jeff Godwin.
Okay, Jeff, my name is Patty Adams. I am one of the youngest crew out there for my neighborhood. I'm in the back of you, my house, you know, facing in the back. And
I don't understand.
off Shakita Drive.
Okay, I know where Shakita Drive is. Okay.
I'm right in the back. And I can understand, I can speak on this behalf of these other people in my neighborhood.
Where are they
It's so
located?
many.
I understand where you are. Where are they located?
They in my neighborhood.
Oh, in your neighborhood.
We all in the neighborhood. We don't been in trouble with the flooding and all that, so we don't need nothing else coming there. But anyway, every day I walk out in my neighborhood. I got lots of elder people out there. They have lung problems, and some, you know, diabetic. Some have cancer. I'm not going to say their names, but I don't think we don't need that in our neighborhood. I'm just going to tell you straight up, we don't need it. It don't need to come there. You do need to move it somewhere else, because all that dust. I go and sit back on my patio, and I'm pretty sure you know about concrete. You know the deal. You young. Give them a chance. Give all us a chance. But the dust.
You do realize I'm half a mile south.
You ain't too far. No. Let me finish. You're not too far from us. You're not too far from us at all. And to me, like we say, you probably need to move that somewhere else or suggest some other place to do it, because I got too many other people in my neighborhood. And right now, life is short. People want to live. They want to enjoy life too, instead of walking out their front door inhaling all this stuff.
But you do realize that from where you're at it.
Yeah, we're gonna give you a chance.
Oh, well.
Yeah, you didn't let me finish. You keep cutting in. I'm done. I'm done.
So do we have any more questions? One more question, and then you'll be able to respond to the points that you made. That'll work.
So I commend that you're recycling. That's an awesome thing. My question is, what is this going to do to the quality of life to 80 and 90-year-olds that your fence that you put up is 10 foot from their bedrooms, their kitchens, and they're going to be hearing this all day long? They're going to have this dust all day long. Even if you say there's no dust, they are 10 foot from your property.
Well,
Okay. Any other questions before the owner and the engineer, or should we let them address some of these questions? Yeah. Again, the questions centered around stormwater runoff, potential flooding, noise, also the dust, the particulate matter, and also, what was the last thing, the fourth thing? Traffic was the fourth thing. So if you could address those four things, that'd be great.
Yeah, I'll discuss stormwater and the traffic for now, and I can address the other ones too, if you have any questions on that. As far as stormwater goes, what we did is we've had several geotechnical studies done by registered geotechnical engineers. All the water off our site is designed to collect and go to our pond, not off-site. It does have an element where it receives water off-site into our pond, okay? And that's by county code, you do that. So nobody was excluded. And our pond works, it functions into a 100-year storm, which is a quite intense storm, okay? And it perks out. So, yes, there's flooding in that area and all. And a lot of the flooding comes from this piece of property as it sits now. But we have a stormwater plan in place reviewed by the county and the water management state, and it's approved, okay? So, as far as anything else in your neighborhood, yeah, Lumen could address that from a county standpoint, or these folks up here. As far as traffic, we did a traffic study. I did the traffic study. That's why we're putting in turn lanes to get these vehicles out of through traffic. and into a safe lane where they can stop and turn into and out of the project. Okay, so we're trying to limit the amount of chances for a crash or something. You look at crash data when you do these things, and you kind of see up and down the road what's there. It's all technical stuff, but anyhow, we've addressed that also. What else was there, Chips? There was 4.
Stormwater, traffic, dust, and noise.
Yeah, as far as dust, there is a dust suppression plan on record with the county for this project, and it's being used at the other facility also. And it's not just watering the things, it's actually a lot of testing. If there is an issue, there are chemicals that they can put into the wet material to bind it up, to bind it together, called binders, and make it to bigger particles. They will not go airborne. Okay, so that's part of the plan. It's on record. You can get the records pulled over here, right down the hallway here. So from dust suppression, yeah, we've gone through that, reviewed it with the county staff, and we kind of basically got their sign off. And the 4th one was?
Noise.
Noise, yes. Yeah, now what Jeff operates is an impact crusher, and it's based on an impact. And it's an enclosed machine. If you've ever seen it, it's big, probably wouldn't fit in this room, to be honest with you. But it's inside the machine itself. It's got a lot of insulation. So if you open the door when it's crushing, yeah, buddy, you can hear it. But if the doors are closed and it's sealed, you can hear bumping going on. Not quite that much, by the way. Yeah, not quite that much, okay? But yeah, well, no. You'll hear something like this is what you would hear. You wouldn't hear what you're implying there, but that's fine. So, and the machine itself, like I said, it has water jets. That helps to muffle sound. You've got the insulation inside to muffle sound. When the county tests and when Jeff tests, they do test for sound. How many decibels is it putting out? They also test for airborne particulate that Chip was talking about. How much is going up, if any? And is it at a level that is a thing to nature, or is it a problem that's going to spread? Also, there are set wind speeds. Once it hits that speed, that's it. Quit crushing for the day. It's over with. You don't crush anymore. You stop at that point. This facility does not operate as much as you think it does. It's not 8 hours a day, 5 or 6 days a week. That's not the way this thing operates. People don't understand that either, but it does operate. And there may be times when it's at a peak and there's a lot of recycling. A lot of times there's nothing to recycle being brought in, okay? You got to have the raw product, concrete, the asphalt from roads, whatever. If you don't have that, there's no recycling going on. It's just sitting there, okay? So it's not a 24-hour day process. It's not even an 8-hour-a-day process. It's not an everyday process by any means. And
last week we crushed a total. Last week we crushed 3 days, a total of 2 hours each day. And we don't even crush every week. We crush up a pile. As long as the pile's there, we don't crush. That's all we need. So it's not like an operation that it works 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, or even 6 days a week. We don't even work on Saturdays and Sundays. If we come in on Saturdays, it's just a case of pick trucks up and leave, or do maintenance on a truck. We don't crush on Saturdays, or don't work at all on Sundays. But there's the people are under, the ones that I've talked to are under the wrong impression of what we're doing. This is not a 8 to 10 hour day crushing every single day. That's not it. So we just crush what we need, and that's it.
It doesn't matter if it's one day, you still crushing, you know, we can cause harm to anybody.
yeah.
This will be the other question, and I'm gonna leave it as my final question. If you're crushing only 2 or 3 days a week, 3 and 4 hours a day, what's the need in having another facility built? If that's all the work you're doing.
Well, he doesn't have it. Did you want to answer that? Wait, no, you don't want to. Let's.
One thing I do want you to understand, I'm not going after this property just because your trailer park or your house, but, you know, near the church. I'm not singling anything out or anybody. There's a certain criteria we have to be able to do this operation. From Chiquita Drive, across the street, all the way back down past the interstate is all heavy commercial, light industrial, zoned property. So it's not that I'm coming to your neighborhood, a residential neighborhood, to do this. It is zoned, every bit of that is zoned, whether it's got houses on it, mobile homes. Right next door is an industrial park, zoned the same exact thing, that there's houses on the same zone property, trailer parks. So we're all in this together. So it's not that I'm, you know.
Other businesses on that street,
Yeah.
they're not creating a problem. Like I said,
I'm on that street too, and I'm not creating a
And,
problem either.
let me,
people are at work, I'm asleep. I sleep just about all day, all night. So for you to say
You won't even
it's-
hear us then. You
yes,
won't
I
even hear
will.
us.
well, let me thank you, Ms. Franklin, and Ms. Johnson, let me just say this. And I do appreciate Mr. McGuire and Mr. Godwin for being here, and I appreciate the constituents from being here. Part of the things that we're going to do is answer questions. This is a fact-finding information meeting, and that's why we brought the staff. There will be a public hearing, and I'm sure there'll be discourse and dialogue, disagreement and agreement as we move forward. But certainly, our petitioners did not have to show here tonight. They could have just said, you know, we'll just show up at the public hearing. You didn't have to be concerned. And so, whether I agree with someone or disagree, I would never become an antagonist. I can't do that as a Christian. And so I can disagree without being rude. And unfortunately, when I agree and you disagree, and that's why, you know, someone makes a decision, whether it's the courts or the judiciary or whatever. We want all to have a great community. And so, if nothing else, I've heard. I mean, I can just tell you, you talked about the drainage. That's something I've worked on forever. We just brought it forth, the Ortego Pond that Wes will talk about now, that we just put millions of dollars that I've been working on for about 5 years to get the drainage. I get it. I live off of Halifax, and my mom lives off there. So that is being worked on, and Wes will talk about that. Our staff is here. I can just tell you, whether it's the petitioner or whether it's anybody, I've just told my assistant, and raise your hand, Audrey. If anybody wants to meet with me and staff one-on-one to get a further understanding, she's going to block off all of my day next Tuesday morning to meet one-on-one, because we're going to have that meeting next Thursday. I encourage people to be at that public hearing to express your opinions. If you still don't have complete clarity on information that you'd like to have one-on-one, I can just tell you, because it's quasi-judicial, you probably could have a better conversation with our technical staff one-on-one than you can in a public meeting. And so I think we've heard the voices of those who are in attendance. If there's other information that you seek out, we're certainly going to ask Mr. Marino, when he come forward, to have his staff stay around so you can get the one-on-one. But your concerns are my concerns, and it doesn't matter. As you said, I value Mr. Godwin lives in District 3. I value Mr. Godwin. And Ms. Johnson, Ms. Franklin live in District 3. I value every citizen of District 3, and I often say, it's very clear to me. I have 2 children and 1 wife, and every Sunday we go to dinner, and we typically end up in an argument because 2 people want to eat here and 2 people want to eat here, and the majority really rules, and that's the way that it works in a democracy. And
I don't want you to think anyone here is trying to be rude.
no, you were not at all. You're passionate.
Just turned over the table when he had to make a statement.
That's right.
And we got to make a stand here because something about to happen to our community that's going to involve us and that's going to create a problem.
And Ms. Franklin, it is what I stand on. Check my record on standing for the people. It's unquestionable. From Wedgwood to Evanwood, my record has been completely clear on the side of citizens of what's right,
I know it.
but without hurting anyone. Yeah, I appreciate it. I understand, Ms. Franklin, and I'm not cutting you off. But in the essence of time and our staff time, I mean, we probably got hundreds of thousands of dollars of staff time in this room right now. And I do, let me just say to our staff that stayed after work today, I do appreciate every one of our staff people in their concern about equality, equity, recognizing the process. And so whether you like the process or not, the process is the process. And you have to respect the process. And we're going to respect that process, and we're going to respect every petitioner as they try to provide economic opportunity, but we're going to respect what God gave us in the environment, and then we're going to make the best decision that we can possibly make with the information that's presented to us. And so, again, I appreciate you being here. With that, we are going to ask staff to hang around for a little while. Our administrator is going to close. He's going to address the drainage a little bit. And then hopefully Mr. Godwin will stay around, or Mr. McGuire, who I've known for many, many years, will stay around and answer any questions, and our technical staff will stay around as well. But again, thank you for being concerned for your community, and your community is my community, and I appreciate you taking time out of your schedule being here tonight. So thank you so much. Mr. Marino.
Thank you, Commissioner. I would like to say we do have a bit of positive news for the subdivision there with the Ortega Pond. I know that's been a historical flooding issue there in that area. Matter of fact, I can remember back when I was on a crew at the road department, working there in that area, working the swells, trying to make the improvements to keep the water from backing up into the yards and into the houses. It's been a long-standing issue that we know that we're aware of, and Commissioner May made it a priority. He has allocated the funding to construct that project and expand that pond. So we have 100% design on that pond. We have been through procurement. We have advertised. We have a contractor ready to award to. And so in the next meeting or two, we will be awarding that project, and then we will absolutely go to construction. And I think looking back at the Ortega Pond, it's been a really tough issue to get a handle on, but I'm happy to say we're fixing to get a handle on it, and we're fixing to construct that project. And we will alleviate the flooding that's been going on for years, actually, in that subdivision. So that's just a little bit of a positive thing to try to end on for that subdivision tonight. As Commissioner said, we'll be hanging around. Staff will be hanging around. If you have any questions of any of our staff or me, just feel free to locate us and give us a shout and talk to us, and I'll do my best to get those questions answered. And with that, we'll dismiss. Thank y'all.